All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, have some confirmation, at least in part, about a issue with Ryan Garcia and his allegedly illegal use of IVs before the Devin Haney fight that took place April 20th. Spoke with the New York State Athletic Commission myself and got a little clarification. Want to update you on that. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 143-pound division, where Ryan Garcia has been accused of a lot of stuff, one of which is related to the illegal use of an IV ahead of his fight with Devin Haney at 143 pounds back on April 20th. I spoke with the Nevada State Athletic Commission and got some clarity to a certain degree, and then also looked up and was pointed to some cases where this has happened before. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a long time subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much. But let's get into this. There's a rule in boxing that came around a few years ago where it became illegal for fighters to use IVs. That is where you put a needle and then you put fluids in your body in order to help you rehydrate. And this was outlawed, I do believe, first by the UFC, and then boxing followed suit. Devin Haney has accused Ryan Garcia of doing that and wants his loss to Ryan Garcia to be turned into a win for him, not just the no contest that is typical, of scenarios like this. So I called the New York State Athletic Commission and I did my best to get an answer to the question, because there's a little bit of ambiguity in the rules itself. And that is that it is illegal to, or against the rules, a violation of New York State Athletic Commission rules, to use an IV prior to a fight. But the question was, when they said prior to the fight, do they mean that prior to the fight and after the weigh-in, or do they mean at any point in time prior to the weigh-in? What they would give me as far as an answer was to say that Ryan needed to notify them of the use of the IV, that he would have had to notify them. So but they did not speak specifically on Ryan Garcia, because obviously they said, hey, we know why you're calling. There's a bunch of people calling asking us this question, and we can't get into any specifics with Ryan Garcia. But I kept asking questions, like 4 or 5 different questions. I said, well, hey, I'm not a journalist, because I'm not a journalist. But if I was a boxer, how would I know, when I can use an IV and when I can't use an IV? Because the rule, the way that it's written, is not clear. Because in one instance, it says that a boxer can't use it prior to the fight, prior to the event, without notifying the New York State Athletic Commission. But then later in the rules, it says that you can't use an IV after the weigh-in and before the event. So what's the deal? And they said, well, look, the best we can tell you is that you need to notify us. So what do I draw from that? That Ryan Garcia more than likely failed to notify the New York State Athletic Commission. And that looks like it may wind up being a violation of the rules because he didn't notify them. But again, he would not specifically answer my question about when he was supposed to when Ryan was supposed to notify him, because clearly you can't ask somebody to notify you 7 months before the fight takes place, right? Or is it, there has to be some specific time when the fight becomes under the purview of the New York State Athletic Commission, and they refuse to answer the question, because obviously they didn't want people to get ahead of it on reports, but did again confirm that he had to notify them. Or if a boxer, in my circumstance, I said, what if I did it before the weigh-in? You would have to notify the New York State Athletic Commission. I think that's a fair answer and doesn't look the best for Ryan Garcia. Now, also, I did go look and try to find people where they in New York, where they violated, or instances in the UFC or in boxing where people were accused of having violated the IV rule, and all of them, it took place after the weigh-in and before the fight. None of the examples where somebody had been suspended for 6 months, or another guy, I think both guys had been suspended for like 6 months. Neither one of the people that had been suspended did they wind up having had taken it before the weigh-in. Also, the only other instance that I could see where was with the case of Floyd Mayweather Jr., where USADA said that there was evidence that he used an IV, but this evidence was again the day before the fight, which was probably most likely after the weigh-in, right? So, but Floyd Mayweather Jr. obviously never got suspended for that. Was never wanted to be in a problem for him, but at the end of the day, man, Ryan may be in some. Ryan may get some time on this one, just for failure to notify them. But then again, he's going to have lawyers, and the lawyer is going to look at the rule and say, hey, your rules are not clear. We read your rules. This rule says in between the time of the weigh-in and the fight for rehydration purposes. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. He and Devin Haney are still going back and forth on Twitter, which is real funny. But at the end of the day, man, I have no faith really that boxing is going to do right. Right. But in this particular instance, I don't know what right is, because, I've talked to medical people or people in the medical industry that said, during the time that you're weight cutting, people could use IVs. It's really just when you're rehydrating that would be the problem. And if somebody had to cut a lot of weight, then medical doctors would have said, yeah, if you're going to cut a lot of weight, you need to use IVs to cut the weight. But obviously IVs can be used to mask performance enhancers and all that type of stuff. But anyway, just wanted to update you on it. That's what they said. That's what the New York State Athletic Commission told me. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.